Welcome everybody to the last episode on my writing series that I have for you. I'm super excited about tonight because I'm going to be sharing with you tips for grading writing, how you can figure out how to grade writing, because it's not like math where there's one right answer. There's so many different ways that we can look at our students as writers and grade their work. So I'm going to be giving you some new ideas about that tonight and also giving you some freebies. But I just wanted to say hello to you first, and if you're just joining, feel free to say hello to me in the comment section below as well. I am going to go ahead and get started tonight, but if you missed any of the other Facebook Live posts I did during this series, here are all the topics that I covered. I know you can't see them all quickly here, but you can catch all the replays on my Facebook page or on my blog, which is Out of This World Literacy. So tonight's last topic is all about grading writing, which is such a tough thing to do because writing is not a one answer kind of deal like math is, right? So there's a lot of different ways we can look at our students grading and thinking about how they did as writers. So first off, I really want to say before I get into my freebies and my tips that when we're grading writing, we have to be sure that we have the right perspective. Because if we think about it, when we write, we don't write for a grade. Like published authors, they don't sit down and start a new children's book or a new chapter book or novel to get a grade for it. That's just not how writing really works. And so it's really hard for us to grade our students their writing. And when we really write to tell our stories. We write to share our ideas. We write to inform our audiences. We don't really write for a grade. And real audiences, real readers, they don't give grades either. They don't care about grades. Real audiences want to react to your writing through either crying or laughing or feeling surprised or feeling connected. They want to be left satisfied and wanting more. As readers, that's what we're looking for. We're not looking to see if something is a 90% or an 80%. We're looking to have an experience with the author through their words. So instead of saying this is how it's done to writers, or this is how grading is done, really we should say, your writing will probably affect your reader in this way. So instead of saying, this is the right way to be a writer, and this is the only way, here's my box, and this is where you have to be a writer. We can't do that with writing. We have to allow them to express their creativity and their imaginations and their own experiences in their own unique way. So instead of saying, this is how it's done, boys and girls, as writers, we can say, your writing will probably affect your readers in this way, because that's what writing really is about. It provokes emotions in our readers. So with that said, we do have to have some grades to hold our writers accountable for the work that we expect them to be able to do in our classroom as writers and thinkers. So since we are in school settings and we do give grades, here's some advice for you on how you can grade your students' writing. I look at these different things when I'm grading writing. First of all, I look at how the student communicates meaning. How is the student's message being delivered to their audience, and is it being delivered in an effective way? So that's the first thing I look at when I'm grading students' writing. I don't focus on spelling and conventions and punctuation, all that first. That'll all come, and readers can usually identify meanings through mistakes and things like that. But I really look at how the writer communicates meaning. And so I have this freebie for you tonight that's on my blog. You can see it's a little half sheet here about communicating meaning. And you can use this in any genre and anything that your students are writing. So I have 5 questions on here, and you can grade them on a scale from 1 to 5, 5 being the best ever. And the questions are, it was clear that the writer was trying to say what the writer was trying to say in the beginning. It was clear what the writer was trying to say in the middle, and it was clear what the writer was trying to say at the end. The text never felt confusing to readers, it was easy to understand, and no parts of the text were distracting. The message of the text was clear. So on this little freebie then, you can put a 1 through 5 on each of the boxes, and then you can get a total score of 25 on how they communicate their meaning. So you can get this on my blog for free. You just have to click the link that I have in this post, and it'll take you over there, and that'll take you to a free download. And that download actually has tons of freebies. There's actually 59 pages of freebies from this entire writing series right here that I have. This whole writing series, there's bunches of freebies for helping you with your writing. So that'll all be on there as well. So the first way I grade them is I look at how they communicate their ideas as writers to their audience. The second way that I grade them is I look at how their writers use their understanding of the genre. So I work in genres in units of study, and I look at whether or not my students as writers were able to effectively implement the strategies that writers use in that genre. So if they're writing an informational text, how well did they distribute the facts throughout the text? How well did they set up text boxes? Did they use subheadings? So all the features that you would see in a nonfiction text, that's what I'm looking at. So basically, the second freebie for tonight on helping you grade is writing in a genre. And this can be in any genre that they're writing in. I kept it pretty vague, so you can use this form to help you get an understanding of how you might grade them and their ability to write within that genre. So the statements for this one are, the writer included many elements of the genre that helped readers. So I would put a 1 or a 5, 1 through 5 here. It's easy for readers to understand what type of genre the writing is, so it's easily identifiable. This is definitely a personal narrative. This is definitely an opinion piece. The readers can tell right off the bat that the writer is writing in whatever genre they're choosing. There was enough text features to make the genre easy to understand. There were no parts of the text that did not fit within the genre. So if it's a personal narrative, there were no animals talking or something like that. That doesn't make sense. And the writer appears to have been successful with writing in that genre. So those are the 5 statements I would assess the students at when I'm looking at writing in the genre. So first off, the freebie is, I want to find out if they're communicating their ideas clearly. Secondly, if they're writing in the genre, I can measure their progress through this form. And again, this is all subjective, but it gives you a guideline. Really, grading writing is like a guideline. It's not like, this is right, this is wrong. It's a guideline. And I base it on, what I'm teaching my students in my mini lessons. That's what I want them to master in my mini lessons. If I'm doing a mini lesson on voice and on developing characters, I want them to have strong character development and strong voice in their writing. That's what I'm looking for, because we did that in our mini lessons. So I'm really specific about that. So the third thing that I do is, after I look at how the writers communicate their meaning and how the writers use their understanding of the genre in the writing, then I look at the writing structure, the structure of the writing. So I have a bunch of freebies for you guys tonight if you're just joining me. So this one is the writing structure. So what I'm going to look at here is the writing appeared completed with all aspects fully developed. So there was a clear beginning with an intriguing introduction. The middle of the writing included details that made sense in the text. The text had a strong ending, leaving the readers to feel satisfied. And the layout of the text was well developed and easy to understand. So that's looking at the writing structure. As a whole, how did the author do? Did it feel completed when the reader got to the end? Or was it like there was something missing still? Did the introduction really hook them? Or did it leave them kind of, I really don't want to read this, but I have to? So that's what I'm looking at when I'm looking at the structure of the writing piece. That's the third thing. The fourth thing you can look at, and again, you don't do this with every unit. Really, you're going to do, pick and choose what you want to assess. But the fourth thing, I'm just giving you lots of options. The fourth thing is the details in the writing. I want to look at their details when they're writing. Writing can be so all about detail. So in this little assessment, the statements I have here are, the writer included enough details for the text to make sense, because writing is all about meaning, reading is all about meaning. It has to make sense. That's number one. Number one. The writer did not include too many details that would confuse the readers. So there wasn't any other details that were really confusing, or there was no details that felt confusing for the readers at all. And the details in the text made sense in the order that they were written. So sometimes students, they'll write details in a text, but they're kind of all over the place and they're out of order and it doesn't feel like a good flow for the reader. So I'll assess them on their ability to include details in a way that makes sense. And the last thing that's on this freebie is the details in the text held the interest of the readers. And again, that's a judgment call on how well the kids were able to hold their readers' attention. So the last two that I assess, so we have how writers communicate meaning, how writers use their understanding of the genre in their writing, the structure of the writing and their details. The fifth one I have is their voice. writing with the voice. Can I tell that this work is from the author? So writing with voice is a big one. So the statements I have there are: the writer's voice is very clear in the text. The writer uses descriptive language that makes their writing unique to them. There is emotion in the writing that you can tell how the writer feels. The writer uses a clear voice from the beginning to the end of the text. And it's clear that the writer cares about the content and the delivery of the text. If the writer doesn't appear to feel like they are caring about what they're saying in their piece, whatever genre it is, the audience isn't really going to care about it as well either. So the writer really needs to establish this feeling of passion and caring about what they're writing about. So I measure that as well, and that's on this little one. And the last one I do is the conventions, the writing conventions. Those things sometimes us as teachers, they stand out to us right away. They're like these glaring highlighted things. Oh, that's spelled wrong, or oh, there needs to be a comma. Oh, that should be capitalized. Come on, you guys. And really, I look at those last because to me, those are the least important things that I worry about in writing. I want to know that they are making sense, that they are delivering something that is important to them, that they're caring about it, that they're delivering it in a way that's exciting, that's engaging. And if there's a few spelling errors and there's a few commas out of place and they missed a capitalized word, I could care less about that if the writing is powerful and impactful and says something to the world that means a lot to them. That's more important, and I'm more excited about that than I am about them missing a word. I'm a terrible speller, so, like, thank goodness for the computer and spell check. But I'm not as worried about that. I'm more worried about their passion for writing and delivering that to their readers. So anyways, in the conventions though, those are the things that are easy to grade, and that's why we tend to grade those the most and kind of don't look at all the other things, because it's easy to see a word spelled wrong. That's easy. But it really is the last thing we should really worry about, in my opinion, as writers. So we look at the grammar and the text is correct, the words are capitalized correctly, words are spelled correctly, punctuation is used in a correct way, and the text is written in complete sentences and paragraphs. So that's really convention stuff. So that's the last thing I would look at. And there's the little sheet there for writing conventions. This is just a unique little way. When I was putting together this freebie today, I was like, how can I put this in a way that's not like just a rubric, that just looks like a typical old rubric? And so that's why I came up with this way of doing it, where you have the little boxes and you can mark 1 to 5 and give them a little score out of 25 in these half sheets. And I thought that was a great way to be able to get grades, and you could really actually use all 6 of these different ways. If you needed lots of grades, you could use all 6 of these different freebies in a unit of study or in a genre to get different grades for your class. Those are totally upside down, I'm sorry, but yeah, you know what I mean. Oh, and also you'll get, I got all my papers in a mess here, you'll get this little handout in Sorry, I had a little Wi-Fi glitch there. You'll get this little thing in my blog too that shows you exactly what I just talked about tonight as well. And all those pages that I just showed you for grading, you can get too. I do have grading rubrics in my units of study for the reading and writing workshops. It's in the supplemental bundle, all of the rubrics for writing in there if you're interested in those as well. But that's all I have for you about grading. Again, this is my last post on writing, and I'm actually not going to be doing another series for a while. I'm going to be taking a break because I know everyone's going back to school, and it's kind of exhausting to be doing these every night as well. But I'm excited to take a little break and then come back with some new topics in the future. But if you wanted to watch any of my old writing topics, you can. There's all kinds of great information on these posts in the Facebook videos or on my blog at All This World Literacy. And you're welcome, Christy. And as well, you can go to my blog and click any of those images and it'll take you to the free download. It has 59 pages. There's writing conference forums in there. There's lessons with detailed lessons for your classroom that I included as freebies throughout this series. There's all kinds of different sheets that you can use to help you as getting through writing as well. So that's all I have for you tonight. And thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I hope you enjoyed this writing series, and I look forward to doing more in the future. And I wish you all a really great evening. Good night, everybody.